God, the last couple of weeks have been so crazy for me, and that's why you haven't seen a video from me since the last one. And in fact, the allotment hasn't received much attention either, and a couple of things have happened. First of all, we got a kitten. Her name is Maggie, and we weren't planning on getting her, but someone from my vet got in touch, actually ran me down at the supermarket and said that a local farmer had found a little kitten in the road one morning. It was a cold night and the kitten was only about 3-4 weeks old at the time, and she asked if we wanted to have her. Obviously it was a sensitive topic with losing Chibis in the middle of May, but we decided to take her in, and we're more than happy to have Maggie join our family. And she's been keeping us up at night. Oh my goodness. We think that she's about 7 weeks old now, and she's in that fighting and biting phase that is just so exhausting, but so cute. The other bit of news, and I've been alluding to it over the past, I don't know, 8 or 9 months, has been that I've been working on this project and I haven't been able to tell you what it was. And I can now tell you that I've been writing a book, and I turned in my manuscript on Monday. So I have been spending so much time just working nonstop on the book. And there are some videos that go along with some of the features and topics, and it has just consumed my time. And it's actually been a good thing to have it happen during lockdown, because I've been able to really focus on it, and I've poured so much of what I know about plants into this book. And I will tell you a lot more about it later on, but it will be available in the United States, the UK and Australia next year. So more on that later on. Not in this video, but later on in the year. What we do need to do though is tackle some of the berries and the garlic and other things, the potatoes that are ready to be harvested here in the allotment. And I've had the berries netted up until now, so I want to pick as many as we need, and then we're going to leave some of them for the birds to pick over, dig up some more of the early potatoes, and just start getting back into the swing of things with gardening here at the allotments. So let's go start with the red and black currants. You can tell that it's been a really abundant year for not only the plants in my allotment garden and at home, but in nature in general. The red currants last year were completely stripped by birds, and they were one of the bushes that I left unnetted. And as you can see, they're covered in berries. And red currants are tart, and they are not to everyone's liking raw. I love them, but you can make them into jams and jellies and wine and all kinds of things, pies. And what I'm gonna do with the red currants I picked today, as well as all the other berries, is just freeze them first. And I'm going to do that because I'm just so busy right now trying to catch up with everything in the garden and everything that needs to be harvested, that I'm gonna freeze them, come back to them later. And to freeze them, it's really simple. You just put them on a baking tray, put them in the freezer, let them freeze, and then brush them off into bags or containers or whatnot. And that way they stay loose and they're not one solid mass. Right, let's get busy because this is going to be some hard picking. You can pick red currants by just pulling them off with your finger individually like that. But it makes a lot more sense to just wait until an entire tress is ripe and then just pick the tress. And also, if you want to be kind to your local wildlife, leave 10% of the berries on the bushes for them to have. And the opposite is true for when you're picking in the wild. Only take 10%. Oh, I do love black currants. And up until this morning, I had all of these netted with a really soft bird netting. And that's because birds love them. And there have been many years that I've lost all of my black currants because I didn't get them netted in time. Not this year. So black currants are tart like red currants as well. And they make really good jam. But every year I try to make a black currant rum infusion as well. And it's a little bit like Ribena for adults. Next up on the allotment shopping list, it's enough potatoes to fill this little basket. And there are plenty in here and behind me, so many potatoes. And I'm just leaving them in the ground and digging them as we need them. And because the foliage doesn't look affected by blight, I know they're pretty safe. So I've already dug over this area. Let's see what this plant here has under the ground. Oh yes. There's one and another. Once you have a few potatoes visible, it's better to use your hands because the more you put this fork into the soil, the higher the chance of you actually stabbing one, and you don't want to do that. After digging up that second plant, I've got these many potatoes, and that's plenty for the two of us over the next few days. And now, next on the agenda is heading over to the main plot and digging up the garlic. The first garlic I'm going to dig up are the elephant garlic, and these have been in since last year, so they'll be really big. You can tell the soil underneath is very clay. This is a no-dig bed, and I just keep spreading compost on top, and you can see that layer of compost is broken down. But underneath and in this root bowl, it's just thick clay. Elephant garlic is actually related to leeks, and that big gigantic bulb here can be roasted, and it's a little bit milder than ordinary garlic, which I'll dig up next. My 5 elephant garlic are up. So these I planted in spring of 2019, and you can see the big elephant garlic cloves right there. And you can plant these on and grow elephant garlic next year. But what I'm really interested in are these little tiny ones. They're almost like little sets, and they're on all of them. With the elephant garlic all dug up, now it's on to the main event. This is just your ordinary bog standard garlic, and I've got a couple of different varieties in here, and they're all saved garlic. So once you have really good garlic on the go, you can just use your bulbs, so break them into cloves and replant the cloves from year to year. The space that's over here, that had some hardneck garlic in it, and I actually used a head of garlic from the supermarket just to see if it would grow, and it did. I was amazed. And that's all at home, and we've been having that with a lot of our meals. And this stuff here, this is soft neck garlic, so this is really good for storing. And it does have a bit of rust on it, but that won't matter with the flavor or with the bulbs and replanting them. Time to get this all up though. You know when garlic is ready to be lifted when the bottom 2 leaves start to yellow. And so these are a little bit past what they really need, but it's all right. It's all right. You just need to start lifting them before they start splitting and growing on. And that's a really good head of garlic there. I think we're gonna have a good garlic harvest. This is fantastic. I love garlic. Gosh, I even found a couple of worms. There's one there, one here. These are a rare sight in my allotment. We have the New Zealand flatworm. Oh, there's 3. Wow. The New Zealand flatworm decimates all of my earthworms. And I had spoken to Charles Dowding at an event a couple of years ago and told him I was interested in no dig, but I was worried about the New Zealand flatworm because I don't have any worms. I have very few worms in my soil. And he told me that he spoke with some gardeners that have a market garden, I believe, in Northern Ireland, and they also have New Zealand flatworm, and they started doing no dig, and the earthworms started coming back. And I would say that this is a really good sign. When you don't have earthworms, you really appreciate them more. You know, that is not a bad garlic harvest. These are some of the soft necks. These are hard necks over here, and then the elephant garlic. And it smells absolutely incredible. Now, the next step is I will take these guys home and then dry them out in the garage and then braid them together. And I have a video from last year showing how I braid them. So if you're interested in braiding your own garlic, go check that video out, and I'll put a link up on the screen. Ooh, it smells so good. Black currants, love them. Well, it's not too shabby of a harvest, I'd say. Huge amount of garlic. I still have loads left over from last year, so I think what I'll do is make that into garlic powder and then get all of this stuff dried, braided, and that will set us up for the next year. Probably more, to be honest. And I had a thought when I was digging up the garlic and I was finding all of those worms. I wonder if there are worms in that bed in particular, because the scent of the garlic has something to do with the flatworms not finding the earthworms, because they do go down their little burrows or their little tunnels and they sniff them out. So interesting idea. So I might actually decide to start planting garlic all around the garden and see what happens. Who knows? In any case, I hope you enjoyed hearing about the big news of a new kitten and also the book. If you've got any ideas as to what my book might be about, leave me a comment down below. I'm not going to tell you, but I'm interested to see what you think it might actually be. And I will be back next week with another video here on Lovely Greens. Bye for now. One last thing before you go. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe to Lovely Greens and click that little bell icon so that you get notifications for when new videos are out.